Hello everyone, it's Cam from Arsenal Theory here, and it's going to be a shorter video today, following up from the Ramsdale RAYA video we did yesterday. It's just been some more information that's come up, and I've had a Brentford mate who sent me a couple of messages which were quite interesting. So I had actually thought that maybe Arsenal were just not really that serious about it and were just leaking some information to give Ramsdale a bit of a kick up the arse. I think I'm now wrong on that. There's quite a few reports saying there's genuine interest there. And my mate Doug, who's a Brentford fan, he sent me a message saying that basically he's a really good goalie, suit Arsenal down to the ground, and that he's definitely worth the £40 million. So that's all very well and good, but there's no way he's worth £40 million, and I'll explain why he's not. Nothing to do with necessarily his capabilities, but it's his contract situation. He's got a year left, and it doesn't look like there's any other clubs that can realistically go in for him that he's prepared to sign for. So I think Spurs looked at him earlier in the window. He didn't want to go to Spurs. I think Chelsea might have had a sniff around, doesn't want to go there. And the rumours are that Bayern Munich were interested in him, and he was like, "No, I want to go to Arsenal." So he must clearly fancy his chances of being the number one. And if Arsenal are the only club that he wants to go to, then Brentford aren't really in a good negotiating position because they can't bounce anyone off Arsenal here, can they? They can't go, well, look, Club X is going to give us the money that we want, so you need to match it or get close to it. Because Raya is just going to go, well, that's great, but I'm not signing to go there, so I'll just leave for free, or I'll go for like 5 million in the January window. So rumours are Arsenal have bid 15 million. I imagine we'll probably settle on something around 20, 25. Now, the only reason I think this is happening is Matt Turner's going to Forest. I think Arsenal are trying to be opportunistic here and have gone, well, if Matt Turner wants to leave to get first team football and cement his place as the USA number one, then we've got Raya that's available for, if we sell Turner for 15, we chuck in another 10 or 5 and 5 in add-ons, then we've massively upgraded our number two position for not really a lot of outlay, a few £1 million and an increase in wages. So it's started to make a bit more sense. It's interesting seeing the Arsenal fans, certainly the opposition fans' reactions to Arsenal making these kinds of moves. A lot of them seem very jealous and are like, this is how a serious club moves. They strengthen in places that they're strong when they need to. And I suppose that is right. It is still quite unusual to have two high level goalies in your team. Someone made a great joke online that actually what Arteta is looking to do is to play two inverted goalies. So we've got the inverted fullback. So I don't think he's going to get away with that one somehow, but it did make me laugh. It's quite funny. So yeah, I imagine that one's going to drag on. I don't know if Brentford has signed a replacement yet for Raya. They probably haven't. So they can't really style it out for too long because it's going to be harder and harder to get a top quality goalie in as you start getting closer and closer to the season. So that really needs to get wrapped up. I'm not sure how close the Forest Turner move is. If I've heard it's 15 million, which I think is a good fee. I wouldn't have any complaints about that. So yeah, we'll see what goes on there. Another player looking at making a move is Austin Trusty. Bought him for a £1.5 million from the MLS. Hasn't played for Arsenal. Did a season-long loan at Birmingham, and I think he was their Player of the Year as well. There's a £5 million fee there, which initially I thought was a bit low, but I think what the thinking might be is that we'll let him go low, but then put on quite a big sell-on clause. Because if he goes to Sheffield United and cements a place in the team and does a couple of seasons there, Sheffield United stay up and cement their place in the Premier League, then suddenly he's gone from being like a £5 million centre back to potentially, anywhere between a 20, £30 million centre back. If he plays a lot of the games, stays fit, because he's still very young, I think he's like 21 or something, so he'll be under 25, and then you'll have teams like Villa, Everton, West Ham, those types, that will be looking at him. And so if Sheffield can sell him for like 30 million in a couple of years and Arsenal get, I don't know, another 20% of that or something, then it's not such a bad deal. And the two other players that are looking at making a move soon. It looks like Sambi Lokonga is going to be heading to Burnley, which kind of adds up. It was Vincent Kompany that recommended him to Arteta last season, and it didn't really. Also, yes, a couple of seasons ago, it didn't really work out for him. Hasn't really worked out for him at Arsenal, and his move to Palace. Palace stayed up, but I'm not sure how much Lokonga had to really do with all that. That was probably more down to Roy Hodgson, and Palace aren't seemingly looking that bothered about getting him back. So hopefully, Vincent Kompany can work some magic there. That's looking like being on loan with an obligation to buy if he hits a certain number of games. No idea how you decide what that number of games would be. For some reason, I've got 75% in my head, but we paid, we paid a bit of money for him. I think it was like 16, 17 million pounds. So we definitely want to get that back. But I could see why Burnley wouldn't want to go, okay, well, look, here's what you paid for him. They probably want to see what happens with him as first. So, okay, fair enough then. We'll see what happens there. And the last kind of player that's looking like getting out the door right now is Charlie Patino, Sheffield United again, and potentially Luton Town. I imagine that will definitely have some kind of buyback or big sell-on fee involved there. Bit surprised none of the other, maybe like a West Ham, haven't looked at him. But maybe he's going fairly low in terms of quality to get kind of more guaranteed to get minutes, because he really does need minutes. But people were talking about him like one of the best talents to come out since Fabregas out of the youth team. And it's so surprising that he just hasn't really had much of a chance with us, or doesn't want to give it a go with us, and is looking at that kind of level at Luton Town. And he was at Luton Town when he was a boy, so maybe that's got something to do with it. But it's a shame. It's a player I really wanted to see kind of give it a go, but I can understand why he wants to get some games under his belt. So there we go. Just the last thing, I realised yesterday that I'm going to potentially miss the kickoff against Nottingham Forest when the game's on. I'm actually going to be driving away for a weekend away with the wife and the dog, and I've got a couple of choices here. Either get the wife to drive and watch the game on the phone. Problem is, I'm not a great passenger. I'm just not a great passenger. So, or I drive and whack it on the radio. I'm not really too sure what I'm going to do. I think I'll probably drive and whack it on the radio, but I'll let you know closer to the time. Not that you really care. But look, shorter one today. Thanks for watching. We've got a game coming up on Wednesday against Monaco at home in the Emirates Cup. That's a 6 o'clock kickoff as well, so it's a bit earlier. Really looking forward to that. So yeah, we'll watch that and do some kind of post-match review as well. So see you then. Thanks, and please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Cheers. Bye bye.